locked in. New flow that's God sent. Rags out like Compton. Go hard, no stopping. So if we're gonna understand cryptocurrency, we gotta understand how it started. Let's take a trip down memory lane. The U.S. Constitution is the law of the land, established in 1788 by James Madison. And in this Constitution, there was an amendment that forbids citizens from printing or minting their own currency, competing with or undercutting the reliance of the government dollar. Doing something like this was forbidden. Can't go against the government. It's in black and white, right? But in 1998, Bernard von Nothaus decided to challenge his rights, and he created his own private money called the Liberty Dollar, which was available in three forms. Initially, it was made of gold, copper, platinum, and silver as a coin, and it was also available as a certificate in paper form along with the digital version. This guy was way ahead of his time. You already know, once the feds got word of this new currency, he was arrested, convicted for counterfeit, fraud, conspiracy. Still to this day, he's facing 22 years in prison. I don't know if he went to jail yet. Y'all let me know in the comments. Did he go to jail? So in 2008, we became more aware of the shady banking system where American Express and Goldman Sachs were brought up on fraud, insider trading, and money laundering charges. This resulted in all CEOs stepping down from their positions and ultimately causing a recession of 2009. The combination of these events inspired a group of computer programmers to create a decentralized currency. And learning from Bernard von, staying out of the way of the federal indictments, they adopted an alias, Satoshi Nakamoto. And on July 9th, 2009, through a cryptography mailing list, they announced the invention of the Bitcoin. This is fire. My goal is to help to get the black community from under the thumb of the dollar. The biggest problem we have now is our community is in the mindset that a bulk cash means you're rich. It's not true. Look at most of the world's wealthiest people. Their money lies in the assets that they own. Real estate, stocks and bonds, as well as fine art. But you know what else? Bitcoin. That's right. Look, check it out. So, gold's been out, right? We're going to take gold. Has been out right now for 5,000 years. And gold's worth in 5,000 years right now, up to date, is $10 trillion. So it took 5,000 years for gold to go to where it's at now, 10 trillion, to from where it started from. All right, now let's take crypto. Crypto's only been out, let's say, about 11 years, about 12 years. And year to date right now, and it's still early, super early, year to date right now, crypto is worth $2 trillion. Let that sink in real quick. This fact shows us that cryptocurrency will statistically surpass the worth of gold in a shorter time span. The longer we hold on to cash, the poorer we will become. This is the Red Room Podcast. Stay with me, y'all. We rose from the greatest wealth transfer ever, where we were held in bondage and people got massively, generationally wealthy off of our free labor. Now as we transition from physical currency into cryptocurrency space, we have the opportunity to become early adopters. Peep what the Jewish community did in Williamsburg, Brooklyn. They bought a bunch of land and created their own neighborhood with their own living quarters, police, hospital, and markets, even synagogues where they could pray at. They got it all. And in turn, they established generational wealth and control over their whole community, right next door to Marcy Projects. So as a kid looking at that, it's like, damn, they did this whole situation right here in the hood, unharmed, and they doing their thing. So it makes you think. Gene Epstein said Bitcoin is the attempt to adopt an advanced computerized system, which is the internet, to resurrect money as we know it. Did you know the dollar policy has created a nation of debt? Personal debt, corporations going in debt, as well as the government debt. Yo, we owe so much money to the rest of the world, we will never be able to pay them back. It's crazy. Think about trillions and trillions of dollars in debt. That's right. The banks buy bonds and they flip them to the Federal Reserve for profit. For example, alright, so what the bank does, right? The bank be right here. And what the bank does is they take your money, from the people, they take your money and give it. Bank takes your money, and what they do, they give it to the treasurer. Because, let y'all see, they give it to the treasurer. The bank takes your money, gives it to the treasurer. The treasurer has all the bonds. So the treasurer has all the bonds, all of them. So the bank is going to take your money, give it to the treasurer for bonds. So treasurer says, all right, I'll give you some bonds for these people, money, you know what I mean? And then those bonds, the bank gets those and he gives those to, bank gives those bonds to Federal Reserve. Alright? So the bank is going to go to the treasurer, get some bonds, take those bonds, give them to the Federal Reserve. And what the Federal Reserve is going to do, the Federal Reserve, hold on, not to mention, let's always remember, Federal Reserve has $0. You're taking those bonds and you're gonna give the bank some money. They'll print the money up with you, and they're also gonna give them a little interest, right? So the bank takes your money, gives it to the treasurer gives it bonds, and from there, the bonds go to the Federal Reserve, and the Federal Reserve gives it your money. Yo, the Federal Reserve is the central bank, but it's broke. It has no money, zero in the bank account. All right, the bank goes to the treasury, and the treasurer, and they purchase bonds with your money. Then they go to the FR and flip those bonds for profit on the back end. You know what I'm saying? The Federal Reserve is responsible for how money and credit is distributed. Every time that money is released into the economy, the price rises. This is called inflation. Stay with me, y'all. This is the Red Room Podcast. Folks, I'm learning. I'm giving it right to y'all. Here at the Red Room Podcast is each one teach one. So we spreading the information. Make sure you tell a friend about the Red Room Podcast. 2% inflation every year means the actual value of a $1 bill will be 98 cents next year and will continue to decline every year. Look, since 1913, the Federal Reserve has been in control over the US dollar. And since this day, the dollar has decreased astronomically in value. Remember back in the days when you could find a pack of sunflower seeds for 10 cents or even the blue blow pop? You know what I mean? 10 cents. All those are just memories now. When people used to ride horses and carriages, they said that cars were too dangerous for the road. You know what I mean? Just think, look how far we came, yo. I'm gonna talk heavy. This is the Red Room, yo. Fun fact, you should be buying and mining Bitcoin. You know why? Because the US dollar is worth 4 pennies. That's right, 4 cents, bro. It's all the US dollar is worth. Let me explain how and why we will forever stay in debt under this current system. When we put our checks into a bank account, it then becomes the bank's money. They have the money and they have control over it because we trust them, right? Cool. So what they do is they give our bread to the homie. Watch this. So this is what happens, all right? You take your money and you'll put it in your bank account, right? So go to the bank and you put your hundo in the bank account. So you feel secure, you're good. You're like, yes, I just put my money in the bank. I did my thing, right? What the bank is gonna do, they're gonna loan your money out to the homie, you heard? So the homie, he need a loan. The bank is gonna say, all right, homie. I'll loan you some money, but you better pay me back. I'll loan you the money. So the bank is gonna keep $3 and he's gonna loan the homie 97. So now the homie was just broke, he had nothing in his account, and all of a sudden, voila. Homie got $97. He up like a duck. So what the homie do? The homie go spend that 97 immediately. He spent it on some snow goggles, you heard? He got the newest snow goggles out. So the homie fly, he went to Dick's. Got some snow goggles, you know what I mean? So what Dick's do? They took that bread, you know what they did? They put it in the bank account. You know what the bank did? The bank took that money and did it all over again. They lent it out to somebody. They lent it out to the home girl this time. Bank loans it out again. And this continuously goes on, and this is what is called debt money. That's what the bank does. Yep. And the bank does this over and over again, all with debt money. This is called fractional reserve banking, where 90% of the money that actually exists are just numbers on the screen. That's it. Cool. But let's say you straight, your situation situated, you got your shoebox of money over here, then you got a couple of cards that you playing with, Visa, Master, you know what I'm saying? You living the American dream, right? I feel you. But look, fun fact, 2/3 of in-person sales are done by credit and debit cards. But did you know the credit cards we use today is a 60-year-old technology invented by a middleman, and it wasn't even initially designed for this thing called the internet. So the downside of that is you having to give up a lot of your personal information while making online transactions, making you vulnerable to online hackers and scammers, not to mention your info being sold for ad revenue all over the black market. The answer to this is the centralized system. Through the secure blockchain technology, we will decentralize our personal information, money, funds. We own it. We take control over it. Look, the next step into this digital revolution is the Bitcoin. We are already familiar with machine-to-machine transactions with technology like Apple Pay that limits physical contact on the Amazon store where there's no cashier. You walk around, select an item, and pay right off the app. Check out the Amazon store. It's dope as hell. Just don't steal out of there. Cars drive by themselves, cameras can fly, and robots are replacing humans. It's happening right before your eyes, okay? So like banks used gold back in the day as the ledger to measure debt or credit, the blockchain will record each transaction as a plus or minus in a database. Today's bank account gets replaced with a secure wallet only you can access and control. Don't that sound more like stable, like something you could trust in? Yo, imagine payments without a middleman, investments without a broker, Giving or receiving a loan without a bank. Picture insurance without an underwriter. Giving charity without a trustee. An escrow account without an agent. Where you can make bets with no bookie. Keep your records without an accountant. Don't that sound? Look, this is the future of money. We transitioned from exchange of paper money and coins into electronic transactions around 1990-2000 when the internet first took off. You know what I mean? Remember that? Alright? E-commerce and PayPal popped up around 1990, and ever since, people been carrying less cash, relying more on credit cards and other electronic payment methods. So today, we continue to see hard currency fade. With apps like Venmo and Apple Pay, cash rarely needs to exchange hands. This reliance on digital transactions has helped give rise to the new way to pay, which is cryptocurrency. I'll see y'all next week, man. It's your boy Jackson.
Boy, locked in. New flow, that's God saying. Rags out like Compton. Go hard, no stopping.